Welcome back, guys. Today I thought I'd talk a little bit about open source antivirus, specifically ClamTK. Now, ClamTK provides basically an automatic, highly configurable antivirus protection on your Linux machine. It also has versions for Windows and Mac. It's truly open source. So, this video is not about debating whether you need it or not. It's not about debating ClamTK versus other modes of protection. Today is just going to be a step-by-step configuration guide to setting up ClamTK should you decide to do so. Okay, so let's take it step by step. Now, I'm right now in Manjaro. And so I'm going to use commands that are appropriate for Arch Linux, but you can translate those into your Ubuntu or Debian installation just by changing your package management commands. Okay, so the first thing we want to do, we need to install ClamTK. Now, I don't have it installed on this computer. This is an XFCE installation of Manjaro. I don't have antivirus installed on this installation just yet, and I'm going to go through that right now with you. So let's open up a terminal, and we are going to install ClamTK. So the command is right here: sudo pacman -S clamtk. Now, ClamTK will give you a graphical interface. clamav would be the non-graphical version. So I'm going to install the graphical interface, and I'm going to select one, and we're going to install it. Now, if you just installing it normally doesn't get it working properly. I'll show you what happens. If I type freshclam, which will normally update the antivirus signatures, and it will go through the process. And so it will take a little bit to get through that process. And I'm going to pause the video to see what the results are once this concludes. So be right back, guys. And you can see that right now it's downloading the signatures up to 8%. Now the first update is pretty lengthy, so I'm going to pause it and be right back with you once it concludes. Okay, guys, I'm at 99%. Now it's 100%. And that was downloading from the clamav database. And there are multiple databases, so this may take a little bit longer. I'm going to just let it run here because it is about a quarter of the way through the last database download. And once this is done, then we're going to run a test. Now there's a test command that you can use and see if it's actually working. And if it's not, there are some troubleshooting steps to go through. Now I'm going to include some links just in case you want to look at the documentation. There's lots of information on it. This you could spend all day trying to figure out how to configure this individually for your individual needs. I'm going to use the default configuration, and so you will be, once this is installed and configured according to the default, you will be protected according to the default configuration. So as you can see, clamd was not notified, can't connect to clamd because there's no such file or directory. So we're going to test that out, and we're going to test using this command right here. Copy and paste. And it's doing a scan. Now it's basically saying that the test signature was found, so that means it is working. We're going to create a configuration file, so let's copy and paste these commands one at a time. Then we're going to take ownership of the file that we just created. Now I'm going to open up the file. And as you can see, this is a temporary, it creates a temporary directory. This is your user configuration file. So that's your current configuration. We're going to close that out. We are going to start the service. And then we're going to enable it so it starts when you boot your machine, every time you boot your machine. So once that is done, we're going to copy and paste the enable command. And now that will start it when you start your machine. Now, I'm going to show you the graphical interface. So if I type in clamTK, it's going to bring up a graphical interface. Now, if I click on update, it says you're configured to automatically receive updates. If you would like to update it manually, just go into your, I'm going to go back, just go into your update assistant, click on I would like to update signatures myself, click on apply, go back and click on update again. Click on check OK for check for updates. It's going to go through that download procedure, but this time it's going to be much faster because it has already downloaded all of the up-to-date signatures. So now it's going through the update procedure, and I'm going to show you this just so I'm showing you the graphical version of freshclam. Now if you want to do it from the command line, the command is freshclam. And you see at the beginning here, sudo freshclam. Now, right now, as you can see, it's downloading, checking for updates and downloading signatures. It's going to finish fairly quickly. And then we're going to reconfigure this to go back to automatic updates. So let's let this finish. And it is complete. I'm going to click OK. Click back. Go to Update Assistant and go back to My Computer Automatically Receives Updates. Click Apply and click back. Okay, so that is your graphical interface on your Clam antivirus. That's clamtk. That's the command to bring that up. Now guys, I do recommend that you set up automatic scanning and automatic scheduling. So click on your scheduler button on your graphical interface. Select the time to scan your home directory. Set the scan time using a 24-hour clock. So the hour, if you want it at 11 o'clock at night, you're going to go to 23. So now your daily scan is scheduled, and you can update your signatures just before you scan. So let's say we go to 22:30, and that will give us 10:30 at night, and it'll update signatures at 10:30 at night, and then scan your home directory at 11 o'clock at night. Okay, so we're set to have our home directory scanned right after updating our signatures. Okay, so I am going to close that out. Now, that will enable basic antivirus scanning, but you can add unofficial signatures to it, which brings into the process malware scanning. So I am going to show you that. Now you're going to have to download this, and again, this is in Arch and Manjaro. I am not sure if this is available in Debian and Ubuntu. So in Yaourt, we're going to download the clamav unofficial signatures. And that shouldn't take long to bring into play. We're going to say no, no, continue. Let that download. Now once that's done, we're going to open up the user configuration file. So that's going to be this command here. Now there's not much in here because it's all commented, as you can see. This gives you the option, after you go through all of the documentation and read up on it, you can make changes to your personal configuration file. However, it references the master configuration file for explanations. So in order to take a look at that, let's open up the directory. Now we are going to need to open this up. I'm going to see if I can open it as a user rather than as root. So let's go into etc, and it's called clamav-unofficial-sigs. We're going to open that up. Now we just looked at the user configuration file, which is all commented and really not doing anything at this point in time. The master configuration file is really what's controlling it. So if we take a look at this, you will see that right now it's set up for the default configuration. It includes signatures that clamav does not normally include. This gives you additional protection. As you can see, there's lots of information here, and again, you'd have to go through that and decide if you want to make any changes to the default configuration. Most people leave it just the way it is. So now you've got all kinds of other signatures that are scanning your computer. Now I'm going to close that out. I'm not going to make any changes to it, and I'm going to go through freshclam again and let it update. Okay, that's all up to date. Now, if you bring up the graphical interface, you're going to see several options. Now, this is in your menu. This happens to be XFCE, but if I look at my whisker menu, you will see ClamTK. If you click it, this graphical interface will come up. You've got settings. Now you can scan for potentially unwanted applications. You can scan for files beginning with a dot. You can scan files larger than 20 megabytes, and you can scan directories recursively. Now, sometimes you can get false positives when you scan for PUAs, but you can set that up, check these off, and do a scan, and then see what type of warnings you get. Definitely make sure you have check for updates to the program and double click icons to activate. Those are the default check marks out of the box. So if we go back, you can whitelist directories that you don't want to scan. You can set up proxies. I don't have any proxy. Most people will not. You can check your history. You can see if any files have been quarantined. You can, as I showed you before, you can manually update your signatures by changing this setting. You can scan a file, pick a file to scan. You can scan a directory. So for example, if I want to scan downloads, it will scan downloads to see if there are any issues. Scanning complete, 16 files, no threats found. And you can check the reputation of a particular file. Now guys, there's also, if you're running an XFCE installation, as I am in this Manjaro, you can actually install a plugin to send in Thunar, send a file to clamtk for scanning. So what you would do, and I just installed it, but you would use yaourt, and I'll put the command in the show notes. But it's yaourt space dash capital S space thunar-sendto-clamtk. You will go ahead and install that file. And it'll install a plugin into your Thunar. So when you right click a file, you can send it to clamtk to be scanned. So I'll show you how that works. We'll do, let's see, yeah, I have my pictures there. So I'm going to send this to clamtk, and it will scan that file or folder automatically. It'll just take a moment. It's preparing. No threats found. Scan complete. So that is a plugin for Thunar usable in your XFCE installation. Or if you're running another desktop, you can still install Thunar and get the benefit of that plugin. So that is the way you would set up your clamtk on your Linux machine using basically the default configurations and then some unofficial signatures. I'm going to put these links in the video in the show notes so you can read through. The more you know, the better your system will be protected. But that is how you would set up a basic antivirus malware scanning on your Linux machine. Guys, if you have any questions, put them in the comments. Thank you for stopping by the channel today. Please rate, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you soon. Take care.